Hello friends, in this video lecture we'll study about 8251 serial communication USART device. So USART stands for Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. USART is mainly used for serial communication. So why serial communication is used or preferred when compared to the parallel communication is that serial communication can be used for long distance communications where the cabling cost is more if you use the parallel communication, just like the telephone lines or the satellite links. So in these applications we can prefer using the serial communication rather than the parallel communication. And also some of the devices they only operate on serial communication and serial data transfer. So serial communication is preferred and it is mostly used in various applications. So there are different types of serial data transfer. That is how you transfer the serial data. So you have different types of serial data transfers. So mainly it is used for serial communication and long distance communications. So there are three different types of serial data transfers. One is the simplex, another one is the half duplex, and another one is the full duplex. So if you look at the simplex data transfer, that is the microcomputer is connected to the IO device like a printer. So in such case the microcomputer only transmits the data to the printer, and there is no data transmission from the printer to the microcontroller. So it's a one-way communication. So that type of communication is called as a simplex communication. And if you go for a half duplex communication, in half duplex the communication takes place over a single line or single cable, single wire, but it is a two-way communication. That is a bidirectional communication. That is, you can transmit and receive the data, but only one at a time. That is a walkie-talkie, an example. So only one can talk, other can listen. So that is an example of half duplex communication. Whereas in full duplex serial transfer, we have separate lines for transmission and receiving the data. So example, a telephone line. So where both the users can simultaneously talk with each other. So that is both transmission and reception can be done. So that is a full duplex mode of data transfer. So these are the different types of serial data transfers that we have, and this data communication can be done in two different modes. So one is called as the synchronous mode, another one is called as the asynchronous mode. So the data communication that we are talking about operates in three different ways. That is half duplex, full duplex, and simplex mode. Now the data transfer can also takes place in two different modes called as the synchronous mode and asynchronous mode. So synchronous mode and asynchronous mode formats are shown here. So if you look at the asynchronous mode format, in asynchronous mode the start of data transfer is indicated by the start bit, and then you can transmit the data bits. So the number of data bits used here is 5 to 8. So you can transmit 5 bits, 6 bits, 7 bits, or 8 bits you can transmit after the start bit. Then you can have a parity bit. It's an optional. So parity bit is generally used for checking the errors. So you can use these parity bits. It's an optional bit. And then after the parity, the stop bits are used to indicate the end of the data transfer, so that another data transfer can begin. So to end the data transfer, the number of stop bits used are 1 or 1.5 or 2 stop bits can be used. So you can use 1 stop bit or 1.5 or 2 stop bits can be used to indicate the end of the data transfer in asynchronous format. So this is how, again, once the stop bits are received, then again you make this signal low, indicates the start of transmission. So allows the data transmission for the next value, the next data. So this asynchronous format, it is a self synchronization format. So that is a start and stop bits are used along with the data itself. So it's a self synchronization format, and it has a high overhead. That is the overhead is high, which means in addition to the data bits that we are transmitting or we want to transmit, we are using the additional bits as a start bit, parity bits, and then stop bits. All these bits are additional bits to the data bits. That means to transmit 5 bits of data here, let us consider that you are transmitting 5 bits. So to transmit 5 data bits, you are using one start bit, one parity bit, and one stop bit minimum. So you have to use 3 additional bits to transmit 5 data bits. That means high overhead. That means more number of additional bits are used to transmit the data. So that is called a high overhead in asynchronous format. But this asynchronous format is popularly used because of the self synchronization and tolerance in the clock frequencies. That is, the clock frequencies at the receiving and the transmitting end can be adjustable, so that the data can be transmitted or received. Transmitted data can be received correctly. Whereas in synchronous format, there is no start or stop bits are used. So we are going to use the synchronous characters. So you can use 1 or 2 synchronous characters for indicating the start of data transfer. So you can use 1 or 2 synchronous characters. Once the synchronous characters are received, then you can start sending the data. So you can send or transmit many number of data bits you can transmit, and then you can use and then there is a checksum at the end. So this is also an optional one. So this is also an optional one. It is used for error checking. So if you look at the synchronous format advantages, it has a low overhead. That is, even to transmit 1000 data bits, you only use 1 or 2 synchronous characters are used even to transmit 1000 data bits. So the overhead is low, very low compared to the asynchronous format. But it is not popularly used, but it is used in different applications. And here the clock used must be same for asynchronous at the transmitter and the receiver. The clock must be the same clock frequency. Different clock frequencies does not support the synchronous transmission. So for a synchronous transmission, at the transmitting and at the receiving end, at both ends, the clock used must be of same clock frequency. And there are 2 more terms that are used in the communication. That is the serial communication. One is the baud rate, another one is the data rate or bit rate. So baud rate is nothing but number of signaling elements per second. It is also measured in bits per second. So it is simply the number of signaling elements per second. So that is how many number of bits you are transmitting, how many number of total bits you are transmitting per second. These signaling elements includes the start bits, parity bits and stop bits and data bits. Everything is included in the signaling elements. So how many number of bits in total you are transmitting per second is the baud rate. And whereas if you consider the data rate or bit rate, that is the number of data bits you are transmitting per second. So only the data bits, except parity, start and stop bits, only the data bits. So how many number of data bits you are transmitting per second is nothing but the data rate or bit rate. So these are the basics of the serial communication. So serial communication, we transmit the data bit by bit, whereas in parallel communication you use a group of wires or group of lines to transmit the data. That is, you can transmit a group by using a group of 8 lines. You can transmit 8 bits of data. That is, a byte data can be transmitted. That's a parallel data transmission. But here in serial data transmission, we only transmit 1 bit at a time. Now if you look at the 8251 block diagram, so in this 8251 block diagram, so you are having a transmitting unit and a receiving unit. So in this transmit unit you have a transmit buffer and control, and similarly in receive unit you have a receive buffer and control. So in the transmit buffer, the parallel data, that is, it is a P2S converter, that is parallel to serial conversion is done here. the parallel data that is received from the processor. So the internal bus, it is connected to the processor. So the data is received to the 8251 from the processor over this data bus, and that parallel data is converted into serial P2S by using a P2S converter, that is transmit buffer converter. So we can convert it into the serial data. So the converted serial data is transmitted over the transmit data line TXD, and then this transmit buffer is having a transmit control, so that having some of the control signals which indicates the transmit ready. So this pin goes high when the transmitter is ready to transmit this converted serial data, then this pin goes high. And also this TXC transmit enable, so this pin must be high to transmit the data, TXC transmit enable. And also transmit clock, so transmit clock is used here to provide the clock for baud rate for the data transmission. So in synchronous format, the clock must be transmit clock or the receive clock. RXC is a receive clock and TXC is a transmit clock. So this transmit clock or receive clock, they must be same as the clock in the synchronous mode, whereas in asynchronous mode they can be different. The transmit clock frequency, receive clock frequency can be different, but in synchronous mode they must be same as that of the clock signal frequency. And whereas in receive buffer, it's a serial to parallel conversion. So the data received serial data received to the 8251 device or 8251 IC is converted into parallel in the receive buffer, and the parallel data, converted parallel data, is transmitted over the internal data bus to the processor. So over the internal data bus, it is transmitted to the processor. That is the parallel data. RxD is used to receive the data, serial data, and Rx ready indicates that this receive buffer is ready to receive the receive unit is ready to receive the data. That indicates Rx RDY high line, and receive clock already we have seen it. And SY and DET or BD is a synchronous detection or break detection. So synchronous detection or break detection, they are used in synchronous and asynchronous modes. So synchronous detection is used S1D, SY and DET is a synchronous detection. So this indicates that synchronous characters are received. Then break detection is used to indicate the data break in asynchronous mode of data transmission. And we have a data bus buffer that is connected to the connected to the processor data pins D0 to D7, so over which the data is transmitted to the 8251 device, or data is read from the 8251 device. Not only the data, the command words can also be written to the 8251 through the data bus, and also the status of the 8251 device can also be read only from the data bus. And then it also have the read write control logic. So if you look at the read write control logic, it has read and write signals. It has read and write signals. So this read and write signals, so this read signal indicates that it is active low signal, so which indicates that the processor read the data from the 8251. Write signal, active low signal, it's active low signal enable the signal to write the data to the 8251 device or 8251 IC. So this 8251 IC is selected by using a chip select pin CS bar. So active low on this CS bar signal selects the 8251 IC, and also it has a clock signal, so used for internal timing of the 8251. And it also has a reset signal, so this reset and clock signal, they are generated from the another IC. Reset is used to reset the 8251, so that the 8251 is ready to receive the command words once it is set in the reset mode. And then it has a C by D bar pin. So C by D bar pin is a data pin, indicates the indicates the transfer of data or the transfer of the command words. That is, if the C by D bar pin is 0, so two operations are performed on this pin. So if this pin is 0, indicates that processor is accessing the data from 8251. That is, processor is reading the data, writing the data to the 8251. In case if the C by D bar pin is 1, that is 1, that is active high. If it is 1, then indicates that the 8251, that the processor is writing a command word to the 8251, reading the status of the 8251 device. So that command word or data operation is selected. The command word or data operation is selected by using the C by D pin. So if it is high, then the command operation is selected. If it is D, then data operation is selected. And also this 8251 device, it is also having the modem control unit. So this modem control unit is required in case in telecommunications. Modem is required, which is modem is nothing but modulator and demodulator. So in addition to the conversion of data from parallel to serial and serial to parallel, there is a need of modulating and demodulating the signal in telecommunication, or that is in telephone, transmitting the data over the telephone line. In such case, the 8251 is connected to the modem, and whose control signals are shown here. So DSR bar is the data set ready. Data set ready is the input signal to the 8251 from the modem. So this data set ready is a signal from the modem to the 8251, which indicates that the modem is active high. That means modem is on. And DTR, data terminal ready, so which is also data terminal ready, which is also active low signal, which is a signal, output signal from 8251 so to the modem, which indicates that the 8251 device is also in on condition. And the CTS and RTS are the request to send the data. RTS is request to send the data, which is also active low signal, and CTS is clear to send data, which is also active low signal. So this is request to send data, and this is clear to send data. So this is an output signal from 8251 requesting the modem to send the data, and CTS is a signal from the modem, that is, it is clear to send the data, so that the data can be received by the 8251 device from the modem. So this is the 8251 architecture block diagram. So if you look at this 8251, so it has a transmitting unit and receiving unit used for parallel to serial and serial to parallel conversion, and it is also we're also having the control over the data conversion and the transmission of data. And also we have a modem control with the modem control signals, and this is also controlled by the control signals read and write logic. And the data bus buffer Arduino to D7 is used for transmitting the data and control signals from 8251 to 80, from the 8251 to processor. Now let us look at some of the control signals and their operations. So if you look at some of the control signals and their operations, so CS bar is always 0, so that only the 8251 chip gets selected, and C by D bar, if it is 1, which indicates the control word, whereas if it is 0, it indicates the data. So you can see that in the first two cases we are working on a control registers and status register, and the next two cases 0 0 we are working on the data register. So that is a C by D bar pin, and then you have a reader write pin. So if it is 0, that means it is performing a read operation. When write is 0, which means it is performing the write operation. So in the first case, status word is read by the CPU from status register. So if the CS bar is 0 and C by D bar is 1 and read signal is 0 and the write signal is 1, which means that the status word is read by the CPU from the status register. So that means we are reading the status of the 8251 device. And in case if C by D bar is 1 and read is 1 and write is 0, so the control word for the functioning of the 8251 is written to the 8251 device from the CPU. And then in case if it is the C by D bar pin also 0 and read pin is 0, that means data is read by the CPU from the data register. You are reading the CPU data, that is you are reading the data register, that is you are reading the data. And in case if it is 1 0, you are writing the data to the 8251 device. In this case you are reading the data from the 8251 device. In this case you are writing the data to the 8251 device. So that is the control signals. And then we know that the 8251 device that operates in two different modes. One is the synchronous mode, another one is the asynchronous mode. In both modes it operates. So for that the mode command word is selected. So the mode command, by using the mode command word, you can make the processor, that is you can make the 8251 device to work in synchronous mode or asynchronous mode. So it is a 8-bit word. So there are 8 bits used, and these bits are having different functions. For example, if you look at D7, D6, it is used to select the number of stop bits. 0 0 indicates it is inhibit mode, that means no stop bits are given. If it is 0 1, one stop bit is selected, so number of stop bits is one stop bit in the data transmission. If it is 1 0, number of the stop bits used here is 1.5. In case 1 1, you can use 2 stop bits. And D5 D4, they are used to parity selection and parity checking. So if it is X0, then this is that is X0 means if both are 0 0 or 1 0, then no parity is selected, it's disabled. In case if the bits D5 and D4, if it is 0 1, then odd parity is selected. If it is both the pins or both the bits D5 and D4 they are 1 1, then even parity is selected. So this is D5 and D4 bits, they are used to select the parity. And D3 and D2 bits, so D3 and D2 bits, they are used to select the length of the data bits. So the data bits can be selected from 5 to 8 bits you can select. If it is 0 0, that means if the D3 and D2 pins they are 0 0, you can select 5 bits. In case if they are 0 1, then you can select 6 bits, or 1 0 you can select 7 bits. If it is 1 1, you can select 8 data bits. And baud rate selection can also be done. So baud rate selection, for baud rate selection, if B1 B2 bits they are 0 0, then the processor, then the 8251, it operates in synchronous mode. In case if it is 0 1, then the asynchronous mode is selected. In asynchronous mode, you can select the 3 different clocks. So one is clock divided by 1, clock divided by 16, clock divided by 64. So in asynchronous mode, you can select one of these clocks by setting the B1 and B0 baud rate bits. In case if these B1 B0 baud rate bits are 0 0, then the command word goes to the synchronous mode. So if you look at the synchronous mode, so this is a synchronous mode bit configuration, or asynchronous mode command word. If you look at the synchronous mode command word configuration, D1 D0 bits are 0 0. That means if the D1 D0 bits if they are 0 0, that means the mode of configuration is the mode command word written is for synchronous mode. Other than 0 0, if it is 0 1, then it is asynchronous mode, and the clock frequency used is clock divided by 1. If it is 1 0, then asynchronous mode, and the clock frequency is divided by 16. If it is 1 1, then asynchronous mode, clock frequency is divided by 64. In case if these baud rate bits are 0 0, then the mode selected is a synchronous mode. So if B1 and B0, that is D1 D0 bits, if they are 0 0, then the mode of selection is the synchronous mode command word. So in synchronous mode, D7 bit is used to select the number of synchronous characters. So if the D7 bit is 0, number of synchronous characters is 2. So that we know that in synchronous format, the number of synchronous characters, you can select 1 or 2 synchronous characters. Earlier we have seen the asynchronous format, that is the number of data bits you can select is 5 to 8, and you can select the parity, which is odd or even, or you can disable even parity. That is, you can disable the parity bit also, and you can select the number of stop bits 1, 1.5 or 2, that we have seen in asynchronous format. And now for synchronous, we need to select the synchronous characters either as 1 or 2 characters. So that is shown here. So that is shown here. For synchronous mode, the number of synchronous characters 0. If the D7 bit is 0, 2 synchronous characters are selected. If it is 1, then 1 synchronous character is selected. And D6 bit is used to select the synchronous mode, that is 0 for internal synchronization and 1 for external synchronization. And you can also do the parity check. The parity check is same as the asynchronous mode, that is x0 disable and 0 1 odd parity, 1 1 even parity. So the parity check is same as the asynchronous mode. You can disable the parity or you can select odd or even parity. And also you can select the character length same as the asynchronous. You can select the character length of 5 bits, 6 bits, 7 or 8 bits. You can select the character length. So this is the command word for the synchronous mode and asynchronous modes. And also there is a serial command word. So the serial command word, so there is also serial command word. So you can look at the serial command word. So after the mode command word is given, so mode command word helps to set the function of the 8251 USART device. So 8251 USART device function is set by using the mode command word in synchronous mode or asynchronous mode. Once it is set, then you can give the serial command word for the operation of the 8251. So that is some of the bits of the serial command word are the bits of the serial command word is shown here. One is TXEN is a transmit enable. So if this bit is 1, transmitter is enabled, so that you can transmit the data from the 8251. You can transmit the data from the 8251 device. In case if it is 0, then the transmitter is disabled. So you can see the architecture. So if you look at the architecture, so you can enable the transmitter. So if this is high, then the transmitter is enabled. If this is 0, then the transmitter is disabled. So the transmitter enable or disable is done through this pin, serial command word. And a DTR, so DTR is a data transmit ready, so which is used to indicate the modem that the 8251 is on. So if it is a active low signal. So if it is 1, then it is deactivated. If it is 0, then it is activated. That means it is ready to that means it is on, 8251 is on. So we can see that DTR pin here. So data transmit ready DTR, which is a active low signal. So if it is 0, that means the 8251 device is on, otherwise off. So if it is 1, if it is 0, then it is on, otherwise it is off. So DTR pin. And then receive enable, just like the transmit enable for receive unit also. So for receive unit also, you also have the receive enable. It is not shown here, but for receiver also, we also have the receive enable unit. So RXC, so which is used to enable the receiver or disable the receiver. And S break is sending the break characters. So we have SY and DET synchronous detection characters and break detection characters, that is used in asynchronous mode. So use it to send the break characters. If the bit is 1, set to 1, otherwise it is set to 0 for normal operation without any break characters. And you can set the error flags. So there are some errors generated in the serial communication while transferring the data, like a parity error can be generated or a framing error can be generated. So those errors can be reset by setting ER bit to 1, or else it can be set to 0 to continue with the error flags. And RTS is a request to send the data, so it is also used in modem control. So request to send the data is a active low signal from the 8251 to the modem. So it's active low signal, so when it is 0, it gets activated. And also internal reset, so you can also do the internal reset of the 8251, otherwise you can go for the normal operation. And then EH is the hunt mode. So hunt mode is used for the synchronous transfer, or else you can do with the normal operation. So this is the serial command word used for the 8251 device. So in addition to the serial command word and the mode command words that are given to the 8251 device, you can also read the status of the 8251. So the status of the 8251, so you can also read the status of the 8251. So the status of the 8251 can be read by using this register. So what are the status pins available in the status word is data set ready status. If it is 0, then there is no status. If it is 1, that means it is a high status. And then synchronous detection, the synchronous characters indication and data break characters are detected, that is those can be indicated on the D6 pin. So if there is any synchronous detection or break detection available in the receiver, so that is replicated in a D6 pin, that is same as the IO pin. And then there is a framing, there is a error bits, framing error FE1 indicates that there is a error, framing error occurred in the transmission. So framing error means if you are not properly placing the number of stop bits or number of data bits, or the start bit is not properly occurred, then in such cases the framing error occurs. So 1 on the D5 pin indicates that there is a framing error. And overrun error, so before the data is read from the receiver, so we need to read the data once it is received to the receiver. So before reading the data from the receiver, another data occurs, then that is called as overrun error. So first we need to read the received data, then only it is allowed to enter the next data. So but before you read the available data, another data has occurred, which means that it's a overrun error. So that is indicated on this pin OE, that is pin number D4, and another pin is D3, which is used for parity error indication. So parity error is that you can check the odd parity or even parity in the transmission. So if there is a error, whether it may be parity or even, that is shown on the pin D3. And then transmitter empty, which indicates that if it is a high, active high, which means that there is nothing data available with the 8251 to be transmitted. And RX ready and transmit ready, so they are used to indicate the data transmission, ready for transmitting the data or ready for receiving the data. These pins are same as the IO pins that we have discussed in 8251, TX ready and RX ready pins. So those status are indicated on these pins D1 and D0. So this is how the 8251 device works. So 8251, we have a three we have three different registers. One is the data register, another one is the control register, and then the status register. So the first thing we need to do is we need to write the mode command word, and then we need to write the serial command word. After writing the mode command word, we need to write the serial command word, and then finally you can read the status if it is required. So this is how the 8251 device works.